Yep. Good morning. Oh, this is day 11. Go back to sleep and talk at the same time. Maybe break out some of the food. There's no more cake. Day 10. I should say the nights of day 9. Got super drunk off of wine. And we wandered around town. I was definitely being American. I'm no longer going to drink. I haven't drinking in years. And then there's just homemade wine everywhere. And I bought a 2 liter thing for €4 and it was so good. Keep in mind, I never drink, but I drank two, almost 3 liters of wine. I don't remember much. Apparently, I was going around with, with my spiritual friend. Just going around to people telling them I was the I was the king of Sicily and I have returned. Which doesn't feel like far from the truth as I keep going more and more into this world. This morning I gotta check the crab traps, but yesterday we did make the trip out to Salerno in the town. It's like, or the city rather. It's up on this hill cliff, on this hillside, mountainside, whatever you want to call it. And naturally, my phone died on the way out. I had no way to charge it. No possible way to charge. I wanted to take pictures, videos, because the individual that took us out there, that promised me the house, did exactly that. Guys, I have a 4-story house. It needs to be cleaned up. Right. This is a life project for sure. It needs to be cleaned up. But the condition of it, the structural integrity is sound. And the view that I get from the terrace is insane. Like, so not only did I get a free house, okay, but he gave me a storefront right there in the center of the city. A storefront with one of those rolling up gates and whatnot. This is one of those towns, or one of those cities rather, where like it almost feels like ancient Jerusalem. And in fact, there's a church here, or there was a church that was at the very top of the mountain next to the castle. Yeah, my own castle. And the church apparently came down crashing in 1968 during an earthquake. Half the remnants still stand, but you could see just the grand structure. And apparently, every force that came to the island to conquer apparently went to this castle first to take over the kingdom, dictatorship, or whatever came in. So there are a couple like quarters, meaning like you go to certain areas of this little city and you might have like a Jewish population, you might have had an Arabic population, like so on and so forth, because the Ottoman Empire came through at one point and took over, and you can see that in the structures. There's only one bar. It's actually a really nice bar, really nice bar. It's something that is how do I say this? It's built for the younger crowd. I got to meet and talk to a lot of people, just because the individual that was giving me the stuff, like he just knows everybody. So we had to stop every few feet, and he just conversated away with just everyone. So he's gonna make me a set of double keys, uh, copies of keys, and the big question now is because this just doesn't happen, right? This just doesn't happen. I want to do my trip around the island, but at the exact same time, I want to go back to the place and start to work on on what I have envisioned. Because as I gain followers and whatnot, like I want this to be the place for people to come and check out. Like I've been a lot of places in the world, but the quietness and yet the ancientness of this town, it still has a weird effect. Like you can envision the people in the markets from years ago, just up and down. So I think the population's only like 8,000. But when we went there when we finally got there, it was a 5-hour drive. I was working on their city. There's still life in a sense of there's a main road in the middle of the city that has some shops. Everything's lit up very tastefully, and then there was a live band orchestra that was being put together in the church that they use, and everybody's just so well dressed. Like I fell in love with the place. I fell in love with the place. So this is turning into a ghosting camping channel that is an adventuring wanderer that is going to renovate a house and build a storefront in an ancient city. It just keeps adding on. I just don't know how I'm going to do all this because it's two main things I want to do. I do want my own. I'm settling here on this island one way or another, and you can do it on the table very easily because nobody cares. Nobody cares how this goes. Oh, we get to the stop at Palermo on the way, and I could see where my roots came from originally. If there was ever a city on this planet that just does not care about anything, and they're just gonna do what they want, this was the city. I don't know how else to describe it, but it's like in my DNA. Because when I come across something and there's just too many rules, I'm like, or laws, I'm like, nah, I don't like this idea. I'm just gonna do it. And that is almost every person in the city. It's like a million, population is like a million strong. So that's the entire way of thinking out there. Yeah, we're not gonna pay taxes. We're not gonna uphold this idea of personal property. We're just gonna do what I want. So, yeah, this is the morning. We got here back at 3 o'clock in the morning. Come back down the steps from the cliffside, carrying stuff. And, oh, it took about a half hour to reset the tent back up. I managed to cut my hand. Yeah. Oh, and on the night I got drunk, which I'm never doing again. I think at one point the cops were. I finally made my first initiation with the police because I figured, since in my crazy walk back from Prague, I took all the train tracks, and I guess they see me on the train tracks walking back to the campsite, and just plastered. Yeah, in my mind, like, oh yeah, this is the safest route to go. Meanwhile, there's a 100-ton metal box that constantly comes around, just speeding at like, oh, I don't know, 60, 70 miles an hour. No, I got used to the sounds. Like when you walk on tracks for as long as I did it for a couple of weeks. Every type of train that comes by produces a singing noise, like a frequency within the metal, and you get a good like 20 seconds to 30 seconds heads up before anything comes around the corner. Here, there's such a high pitch frequency that's on the tracks, like there's no way you can't notice. I'm on the tracks and up on the cliffside. I see this car with like not blue lights, but like the white lights they have on top. And all I say is "Hey!" All I hear is "Hey, hey!" I see this as a threat, so I just take off running. I'm just again drunk, embarrassingly drunk. And eventually they can't follow me no more because the road keeps going up and the tracks stay level. So like there's a good couple hundred meters distance and height. I make it back to camp, I pass out, and then 2 hours later, I wake up and realize my phone is missing. The one thing I truly need in order to make these videos. So I start by wandering back to town, but I'm actually pretty clear-minded. Somehow, roughly 3 kilometers away, I knew to look in a bush on the side of the road, and I found my phone. And it was still playing music, and the name of the song was "Take It Off." So whatever I got into. Oh no, so yeah, I think what was happening. I ran across the road and I hit the guardrail, not seeing the guardrail. So the guardrail is here, right? Here's my legs, and I think I just did a scorpion up and over and landed inside the bush. But I found the phone, and it was almost dead. It was gonna be like 30 minutes or 45 minutes before the guy was gonna come to pick us up. So I had no time to charge it, and it was just dead the whole day. So I did not have the opportunity to make all the fantastic videos and whatnot. Oh, and I forgot he gave me a piece of land. Guys, he gave me a piece of land to farm that is like a kilometer outside the main city, down the hill. Yesterday, I received land, a 4-story house, and a shop. 10 days of being on society. This doesn't happen in the rest of the world. You'd be lucky if somebody will gift you some napkins out of the local 7-Eleven without them yelling at you. Well, without them, sorry, if you're not stealing them, taking the napkins. Gifting you some napkins if you happen to buy a hot dog, right? Otherwise, they're going to charge you. No. What I received yesterday, okay, if I put in context for the United States in New York, the shop, in a center like that would be a two, three, $400,000. The 4-story house, it's in the condition that it's in, based upon Long Island standards, again a couple $100,000. I'm incorporating the idea of the scenery, the mountainside, the view, everything. And then the plot of land, right? The plot of land is maybe a quarter acre. I don't even know how to put a price on that because there's nothing but olive groves and vineyards all around for centuries. An ancient piece of land. So, yeah, this is a thing. I got plans for the house, like an Airbnb, advertised for people back in the U.S. to come and visit and whatnot. But yeah. So this is the morning, and look how swollen I look still from the 2.5 liters of wine. I started with the cake because it was the guy's birthday. I got him the cake. We had the cake party, and I was like, you know what? Let me just drink a little bit of wine, just a little bit. That's it. Yeah, the 3 liters of wine I drank. I haven't drinking like that in years. I'm feeling it now. Alright, guys, I'm gonna get up and start doing stuff. I gotta check the traps. I'll make a video if there's anything in there. But, I need some advice. Do the houses? Start the stuff back in the city? Or do the trip? I don't know what to do. They both are seeming like excellent pathways right now. So, the last piece of advice is if you're home and if you're just sitting on the couch and you're watching and you're like, this guy's completely crazy, or I need to get up and do something. It doesn't mean you need to go and start like a hobby that costs you money, that just brings you back to the couch, right? What this means is there is life in the rest of the world. There are places where the construct of the social norm, the social media, stuff like that, hasn't hit. and you get to be you. In the beginning, it's strange and it's maybe a little scary, and you don't know how to change or adapt or whatnot. Your body, just your body, is built to adapt to every condition. You just have to throw it in, starve out the comfortness that you've built across your life, and let something new set in. And like I said, the invitation is always open that I am here. I have adapted to many, 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 many scenarios across this world. I will help teach you how to adapt by keeping an open mind and saying yes. Like the movie Yes Man with Jim Carrey, I love that movie. Yes, it does get him into trouble, but that's part of the adventure. So at the end of your lifespan, right, two things are ultimately going to happen. One, at some point, you're going to be judged for things you've done. But the other part is, are you going to look back and turn into that grumpy person because you wish you did more? Or are you going to look back and be able to look back with a smile and be like, yes, I did that. That might have been stupid one day, but it worked out. Or you have an amazing story behind you. I've been here 10 days and I have enough just here. I have enough material that I built up over the last few months, let alone the last few years, to write series or scripts to movies or just endless amounts of stuff. And it's not because I want to seek adventure or fame or whatnot. I've seen that look on people as they get older. The life fades from them, right? They get grumpier. They get more depressed. I never want to be that person. I want to be that guy, maybe 80, 85 years old, out on the terrace, just smiling and waving at everybody going by. Even though I might be blind as a bat, I'm still just happy how life went. Yes, I've made mistakes, for sure. I've let other people influence me to help them make the mistakes. And I will always take, I'm going to take I am taking responsibility for all of my actions. But if all of you think for the 1 second that you don't have opposing forces to make sure you're stuck in one place that are keeping you there behind the scenes, whether they're operating through your friends, your family, the TV in itself, the warm blanket, all of those opposing forces that keep you locked in one spot, okay, are true, are a reality. Shed them off in a responsible way. Make the judgment call, and then come live. All right. Ciao, ciao.